now 17-year-old British boy from Greater Manchester has been found in France after disappearing in 2017. Alex Batty was on a holiday with his mother and grandfather in Spain when he mysteriously vanished. In a press conference earlier today, a French prosecutor said that Alex had been part of a community which lived a nomadic lifestyle in the Pyrenees Mountains, a community Alex decided to leave when his mother said that they would have to move to Finland. This is what Manchester Police's Assistant Chief Constable Chris Sykes had to say earlier today.
Our main priority now is to see Alex returned home to his family in the UK, and our investigation team are working around the clock with partner agencies and the French authorities to ensure they are all fully supported. Alex and his family remain our focus, and we still have some work to do in establishing the full circumstances surrounding his disappearance and where he has been in all those years.
Well, Alex is due to fly back to his grandmother in the UK any time now, actually. Were key opportunities missed by the authorities to bring Alex home? Joining me now to discuss this case is the former Detective Constable in the Greater Manchester area at Greater Manchester Police. It's Maggie Oliver. Maggie, thank you very, very much. I know you've been incredibly outspoken and very brave when it comes to the way that police have handled or not handled incidents involving children around the Greater Manchester area. From what you can see about this case, what's happened here? I mean, how has this kid gone missing, been missing for so long? Just talk me through your views, please.
Good evening, Patrick. I think really there's a lot of unanswered questions here, which probably will be answered over the coming days and weeks. I mean, what occurs to me, first of all, is, I've got a lot of questions as to, first of all, why he was a young boy of 12 when he went missing, but why was he why was his grandma his guardian? Why was he not in the care of his mother? Why was he allowed to go abroad with his grandfather and his mum? There were clearly family problems. I think the thing that occurs to me as well is that I live in Manchester. I live near Manchester. Alex went missing from Oldham, and yet until yesterday, I had never heard this boy's name even mentioned in relation to him being missing. And I immediately, probably like most other people in the country, think of Madeleine McCann. I bet there isn't a person in the UK who doesn't know Madeleine McCann's name. So where was the publicity around Alex when he went missing? And, had there been more of an outcry about him going missing, maybe he would have been found sooner. I think what I would say as well, Patrick, because it is relevant, about 10 years ago when I was in the police, I was a family liaison officer, and I clearly remember another little boy going missing from Oldham when he was in Pakistan with his dad. And I was the family liaison officer on that case, a little boy called Sahil. He was kidnapped, found, a ransom was paid in France, and he returned home. But that story was all over every front page of every paper. So why has there not been publicity around Alex? Why has it taken so long for him to escape? What has happened to him in the intervening times? And, the trauma that he will feel probably for the rest of his life will be very difficult to come to terms with. So a lot of unanswered questions that I think we'll find more out about within the next few days.
Well, I mean, I think it's miraculous that he, as far as we're aware, is safe and well. As you've rightly said there, no doubt there'll be some trauma along the way, and hopefully he gets all the help necessary for that. He's still 17 years old now, so not kind of legally an adult in that sense. His grandma has been speaking, saying that it was amazing to hear his voice and all of this. I imagine she's got some questions over the police. I mean, this guy was supposedly being held in a hippie commune somewhere in the Pyrenees Mountains. Now, I get that it's quite remote, but we're not talking about, like, the absolute back end of nowhere in the middle of the Amazon rainforest here, are we? I mean, I am just staggered that the full might of Greater Manchester Police, presumably Interpol, Europol, whatever it is, and we've not found this guy. He handed himself in.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's happened to him, but there has clearly been a breakdown somewhere in communication, whether I don't know the extent of the original police investigation. But as I say, I wasn't aware that he was missing. I mean, I think I feel very much for the grandma, and, you know, the trauma that she's been going through, not knowing whether she was ever going to see her grandson again. That must have been a horrific journey to have to travel. And I take my hat off to Alex for having the you know, the mind and the bravery really to escape from wherever he was being held. He clearly wasn't happy where he was. We don't know yet where he was held, who with, what's happened to him, all the consequences of that. You know, when he comes back here, there will be an extended period of time when he'll be interviewed. There'll be a psychologist involved. There'll be video interviews. We might have criminal offences. I'm sure we will have, because this at the very least is child abduction. Kidnapping, false imprisonment, who knows? We really don't know.
But Maggie, I mean, you know better than anyone, actually, the Greater Manchester Police. I mean, you kind of quit to expose the grooming gang issue, right? And that was a massive safeguarding issue, frankly, a cover-up as well, of epic proportions there. And here we have very different issue as far as we're aware, but here we have a young child with clearly a complicated family background, allowed to leave the country, and then no massive publicity campaigns trying to get him back. So do you think the microscope really will be on Greater Manchester Police in the coming days?
Well, you know what, you're probably asking the wrong person when it comes to that, Patrick, because I don't know enough about this case to criticise the police yet, and I don't want to lose my credibility and make it look as though I will, you know, criticise the police when there is no grounds for criticism. What I will say, though, Patrick, is that my work every single day within the Maggie Oliver Foundation shows me that cover-ups, corruption and incompetence in Greater Manchester Police is even worse than I first thought it was when I resigned 10 years ago. I mean, we are dealing with the most horrific cases right now, not historical grooming gang cases, serious sexual abuse cases where, you know, women and girls have been unlawfully strip searched in police custody, treated like, public enemy number one, abuse of power, cover-ups, corruption, a lack of transparency. With this case, I don't see any of that yet, but I don't know. Looking at the quality of many of the cases we're dealing with, you know, the question I ask is, was everything done when this boy went missing that could have been done? Was the eye taken off the ball? There definitely wasn't publicity that I would have liked to have seen. So a lot of unanswered questions. And once we have the answers, I know a bit more, then maybe I will have, you know, comments to make that would highlight where I feel that the mistakes were made.
Well, we'll watch this space. Look, Maggie, thank you very, very much for coming on and passing some of your wisdom and expertise there. It's Maggie Oliver there, who is a former Detective Constable at Greater Manchester Police. Look, it's important to say, obviously, Greater Manchester Police aren't here to defend themselves to some of those allegations. No doubt may well refute that. But this case is, I mean, it's on one of the front pages that I'm going to go to very shortly. Unbelievable is the headline in The Sun. I'll just give you a sneaky peek of that, because it is unbelievable. This guy is a child now, still a child, managing to walk across the Pyrenees Mountains, escape supposedly a hippie cult. No idea what's happened to his mum or his grandfather or what awaits him when he gets back into Britain here. So much more to come, but thank God he's alive and well, because all too often, as we know in missing children's cases, that is not what happens. But yes, next I do